Hi guys, it's Dr. Roz.
And it's your man Kil. Me and Roz having one of our infamous off-the-air discussions that just have me and Roz just reminding ourselves why we are not married.
Absolutely.
This is a daily reminder. So for people who think we're married,
we're
never.
Not.
Couldn't happen. Wouldn't even go there.
Oh my God, we be fighting every day. I might have a domestic violence charge.
She might.
Dealing with you.
But let's get right into our first question. I've been married to 5 years. I've been married for 5 years to a wonderful, faithful, and giving man. My husband is truly my world, and I put everything I have into our marriage. And I always felt the same when it came to how he treated me. But recently, he's been acting completely different. He's hanging out with his friends more. He's spending more time in his 30 and over basketball league, and he just doesn't seem to be spending as much time with me anymore. Now, if there's one fault I can say my husband has, is that he's not a big talker, and I'm nervous to bring up my concerns to him for fear that he may shut down. I'm just lost as to what happened between us and why he's changing all of a sudden. Any advice you two can give would be a great help.
Oh, that's awesome. You know what? I'm kind of actually going through this myself.
Okay.
In terms of...
Please don't tell us too much of your business.
No.
Okay.
But in terms of me
for all our new viewers, Roz likes to let us...
I self-disclose a lot, but I just
much.
like to be transparent and honest.
Cool.
Because I don't want you guys thinking that, oh, she's the great expert. She never goes through things. I do. But in this instance, like I've developed new interests here lately. And so I'm doing a lot of different things that I'm not doing with my husband. And it's not that I don't invite him. I do, but it's not his interest. And I'm okay with that. But we still find time to like have our time together. I think her biggest problem here is not him having new interest or him changing, but that she has no idea how to even communicate with her husband. He's your husband. He's the one you made vows to. You shouldn't be timid. If you can't talk to that man, you can't be timid about your husband. You ought to feel comfortable having a conversation with your husband. If your husband's not a talker, then get your husband to writing. But he has to tell you what's going on with him. And you got to be, because my husband, same as that, my husband's not a talker. At all. Am I lying?
Nah.
Like, dude's he's just...
Nah, you give Frank a pound and keep it moving.
It's like, what's up? Kind of thing.
Unless we start talking about comic books.
Yeah, you talk about comic books or like anything techie, then he's got everything. But just in general conversation, he's just an observer. However, though, he knows that he married a talker. So you have to come to a compromise. Because Huh?
I don't know how.
You don't know how you carry me?
Because you are a talker.
I am. I'm quite but we balance each other out.
Cool.
We balance each other out. But I comprehend a lot of things too. I pick up on his body language as well. So I already know what's going on with him because I study him.
Okay.
We've been together for 12 years now. So I study him. I know when things are not good. Like what you should know about your spouse. And obviously you do it because you picked up on the differences. But be okay with his differences. Be okay with him, developing interest in new things because you will. We're not going to be the same person that you married when you were in your 20s or, we're just not. We change. We have different interests. My husband now, he loves to come home and read, and I promise you, for 3 hours a day. When he comes from work, he reads for 3 hours a day. That's his thing. And it's what he's enjoying. Oh, he's reading some series, some sci-fi series, don't get me wrong. But that's his thing. And he enjoys that. And it makes me happy that he's enjoying doing something that he likes. This is real new. This is probably like the last 6 months that he's really started doing this. So if that's what he's into, you know what? He's at home. He's good. I don't have to worry about, where you at, what's going on. I never had that issue with him before anyway, but you don't have to worry about those things. So if your husband is in this basketball league, then you better go cheer him on, girl. Be at his games, cheer him on. Let him know that you're okay with him having these different interests. Because and you know what? It's so funny. Because I get a lot of people that ask me, your husband let you do this and your husband let you do that. And why do you never bring your husband around and this and that? My husband gets an invite to everything that I do. Everything. Whether he chooses to come, that's on him. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to force what I want to do on him. And he's okay and secure enough to know that when I'm out, because typically I'm just hanging out with my sorors anyway. When I'm out, you know, doing karaoke or something crazy, that's just not his thing.
You do karaoke?
Yeah. Oh, I love it.
Okay.
But that's just not his thing.
I think one of the key things that you said about your situation is Frank is home.
Yeah.
So I think that's something that, well, number one, the first
But
thing
I'm
she
not.
said.
But
Right.
I'm not.
But what I'm just saying is it's about different people's level of security.
Yeah.
The key thing that jumped out at me is they've been married 5 years. And, you know, my philosophy is every 5 years, your marriage, you know, goes through a change.
It
You know what I
does.
mean? So I think Will Smith said it once, or Jada, that marriage is a constant renegotiation.
It is.
You're constantly renegotiating where you're at. So if you got married at 25 and now you're 30, you know, like you said, you have different interests and you guys have to renegotiate. Now, the problem with that comes into play is with sometimes, you know, say Frank married you because you were a homebody and now you're always out.
Yeah.
See, I married you because you were home and you wasn't out running the streets, whether it's with your sorors, your boys playing basketball or whatever. So that's where the renegotiation has to come in but I don't think enough people are educated on understanding that the person I marry at 25 isn't going to be the same person forever. And that's what we do in our premarital classes with couples, and a lot of people don't do. I don't mean to diss other people, but they don't, is prepare you that your marriage is going to change. You know, so we take you through scenarios like, well, what if this happens and what if that happens? And we don't want to answer right away. We want you to really go home and discuss it with your spouse, because these are the very things that can happen. What I'm seeing is he's not home a lot. We used to spend all our time together. What she's saying is I put my all into this marriage, you know, so it, you know, again, just assuming that it's like I stopped hanging out with my friends, you know, to be with you. Now, I ain't got no friends because they don't, you know, after a while, your girls call you, your boys call you enough and you don't go, them phone calls stop coming. So I just think you're at a point where you have to just renegotiate the marriage. And like Roz said, even if your husband isn't a talker, like I tell all men, you know, suck it up. Like, yo, don't get married if you don't want to communicate.
That's true.
So like she said, whether it's through paper or writing or emails or whatever, you know, I understand being nervous about bringing it to the table because you may not want to get into an argument. And this is where it may lead. It may lead into an argument. But at the end of the day, y'all need to have that discussion so that he understands how you're feeling about, why these changes happening. And a lot of times people don't even understand themselves that these changes are happening. You know what I mean? It's not like, going through puberty and you see the facial hair growing in. So he may not even really know that he's...
kids?
Oh, they didn't say.
She didn't say. Oh, okay.
So, he may not even know that this is happening. So you may actually have to bring it to his attention to just make sure that, just checking in. Like, are we good? Are we all right? Just to make sure that he's not dipping out. Because, keep in mind,
that is a possibility.
Yeah, and I can understand where she's coming from. If somebody's home with you all the time for 5 years and all of a sudden they out, do I believe you out playing basketball? Do I believe you?
That's why
that's why you said go to the game.
You go to the game.
And cheer them on.
You better be the best supporting wife you can be.
Right. So it's just time to renegotiate. It's just time to shuffle the deck again and get another hand. That's what marriage and truthfully the game of life is about. It's like playing the game of spades. You may have a bad hand.
I'm sorry.
No. You may have a bad hand today, but you can get a better hand. So it's just the constant shuffle of the deck.
But I also want to tell her, because I'm glad you did bring that part out. She put her all into it. I also want to tell you, you still got to have your thing in marriage. You still got to have something for you. Because when you start doing that, it does seem like a huge loss. It does seem like a lot of great, whether you're like volunteering, whether you are, I don't know, you learn how to sew, I don't know, but get your own thing. Because it seems like your husband has just developed a new hobby. It could be possible that he's out there cheating, but you didn't say that. So I won't insinuate that, or I won't assume that.
Didn't you just insinuate that?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I don't.
Okay.
I'm not. We won't delve into that because
Right.
that's not what she asked us. But you can't get so caught up in someone that you lose who you ultimately are. You know, so while you may be giving the most to the marriage, you still can give to the marriage and give to yourself too. So for me, I know for you, your music thing is what you do for you. For me, it's doing community work. It's you know, hanging out with my sorority sisters, doing community work. That's what makes me happy. You know, or getting. I have 7 best friends. Geez, I know, but getting together with them and you know, just things like that. So you've got to find the balance in giving to your marriage appropriately and giving to yourself too. Because when you start giving to yourself, you do get really tense when things change. And it is okay for your husband to want to have it, believe it or not, I'm saying this. It's okay for him to want to hang out. It's okay for him to change. It's a compromise. I mean, he can't do it, you know, like with my husband and I, we compromise. Like, he likes to have a poker game, so he'll do it maybe twice a month. I'm cool with that, you know, and so it's just learning how to compromise.
So prayerfully we answered your question. You know, like we tell everybody, yo, if things get better, hit us back, let us know if things got better. If things got worse, hit us back, let us know that. But all questions and comments, marriageexposed@gmail.com. Continue to check us out. It's your man Kil.
I'm Dr. Roz.
Keep it locked.